here with Amina from Influence Space. Amina, thank you for coming on the podcast again. The other one we did messed up and it froze, so thank you for re-recording this with me. I'm excited to dive back into everything you do.
Of course, thank you so much for having me again. And I hope this time it's going to be smooth, great, productive, effective, insightful. Let's hit it.
Yes. So start off. Can you talk about where do you think influencer uh, marketing is lacking?
Uh, Influencer marketing is lacking. Actually, after doing this for so many years, I now can tell that there's not just one specific spot. It's a lot of spots that we at Influence Space try to kind of cover and fix when we work with our clients. The one big problem that I see in influencer marketing is expectations that most brands have from influencers, and um, a lot of brands treat influencer marketing as a sales channel, and they expect influencers to sell. And Of course, when they come to us and they talk to us, the thing that they expect us to do is to sell with influencers. But influencers are not sales managers. We are not sales managers, so we have to explain that our job is to bring you qualified leads, and that's also influencers' job to provide that, to make that channel work, to make that lead flow work for you, and then you do the rest. So that is one thing that that a lot of brands kind of misunderstand. Another problem is and we talked about it before, like multiple times. It's my personal pain, but it's it's difference between UGC and influencer marketing. I have to highlight it every time I have a chance. Basically, I'll say it again, and I will keep saying that over and over again. UGC is not influencer marketing. It has nothing to do with influencer marketing. Actually, UGC is something that you create with your target audience, your customers, people who actually buy. They pay to have your product. So once you build good, high quality relationships with them, that's when you just user generated content. So it's actually a lot more effective when it comes from your customers, people who actually buy your product and pay for it. So when they create content and they upload it to their social media, they are not influencers. It's your audience. They upload just because they love something, they talk about you. That's content that they generate. And now it kind of got very commercial, and a lot of brands, they expect influencers that they pay to do that user generated content. So there's a lot of, you know, it's a little bit messy right now, and uh, it is important for brands to understand that when you work with influencers, that's influencer marketing. When you work on your relationship with your customers, that's user generated content, and it's totally two different worlds, two different audiences. So those are two things I would say that, like, just come to my mind whenever I have a chance to share something that's painful. I would say, yeah, those are two big misunderstandings that brands have. And now UGC became like a huge industry. There you can see a lot of tons of UGC creators, and I guess it's also becoming a problem from the other side, from influencers. They also don't understand what it is and what it's supposed to be. So I guess my job here, well, I do it with my clients. I educate them on what's what it is, what is what, how you work with different types of influencer marketing. It's my job, but I also I'm grateful to you for asking, so I have this platform to to spread the message, to spread the word, and just deliver the message here as well. So yeah, don't confuse the two. What you do with influencers is totally different. It has nothing to do with UGC. So yeah.
Do you think that that convolution of UGC and influencer marketing, how, how do you think that negatively damages people's brands if they mix the two up?
Um, oh, that's a great question, actually. With this huge wave of UGC industry, a lot of brands, they actually lose an opportunity to build meaningful relationships with their customers, and have that UGC as it's supposed to be, have that channel work for them. So organic channel, you don't have to pay. Actually, people pay you as a brand to have your product, and then they create content about it. Isn't that perfect? It's ideal scenario, but with this misunderstanding or not knowing what UGC is, a lot of brands actually miss that opportunity to have that content work for them, not the other way around. So yeah, maybe I would highlight that part specifically, because it was like that before. Like 10 years ago, UGC was UGC as it was supposed to be. It was just customers, sharing something on their social media, not big social media channels, but still very authentic, very organic, and highly engaged. And then, yeah, and then once it became this huge industry, it's not exciting, it's not authentic to people anymore. So you also kind of you can see whenever it's UGC, like created by an influencer who was paid to do that, you can see it. So y- brands, they lose that chance, they actually kill that chance themselves, to have that authentic, organic love from their audience, from their customers, that UGC can be, uh, you know, UGC represents that actually. So yeah, that's the damage that I see. People just don't buy it anymore. They see paid content, and it's like, oh, I didn't pay for it. Of course, well, of course you didn't. It was they paid you, so you can see it. People are, I don't want to say trained, but they have a good eye for that now. It's like, they see a lot of things on social media, so they can spot it right away. And that's a huge loss for brands.
And I think especially as in the most recent years, this kind of uprising of everyone wanting to be a social media manager, everyone wants to be a a like content creator, everyone wants to help businesses make content, especially on the small business side. When you are educating your clients, what are some things like that you make sure to tell them that you don't see getting done? Like, what are some things like that they should be doing that other agencies, other companies just aren't doing for them?
um the first thing, and it's actually kind of linking back to your first question. The first thing that I teach all of my clients, unfortunately I have to teach them because I see there is a big problem with that. um, a lot of brands, they choose influencers based on their content, like if it looks good, if it's pretty, if they know how to edit it, and all that. uh, but that's not what sells in influencer marketing. And I have to teach all the brands that I work with that the only thing that sells in influencer marketing is the connection that your influencer has with your audience. So when you choose an influencer, and that's like a pro tip for everybody who's watching. When you choose an influencer, first thing that you should look at is that connection, that bond that they have with their audience. Because for brands, that bond is actually the bridge to their target audience. If that bridge is broken, whatever message you try to deliver from with that influencer, it's not going to be delivered, because it's, there is no bridge to deliver the message. So look at that connection, look at how they talk to their audience, if they listen to their requests, if they actually like active in comment section, just whatever you can spot, whatever you can extract from their social media platform, to see that connection to see how much their audience trusts them, how engaged they are, if they're just sending like even comments, like when you open comment section, if it's just little hearts or and fires, it's not connection, it's just the comment. You have to see how the conversation is going between the influencer that you want to work with and their audience. That's the bridge. That bridge should be your main focus. If there is no bridge, you're gonna drain your money. So that is actually a huge problem, and that's the reason I can now say it with confidence that this is the reason why influencer marketing doesn't work for so many brands, because it's just, you have to they just look at a totally different thing that it has nothing to do with their goal, with what they're looking for.
And you talked about really going with creators that have a good connection with their audience. I think that's very important. If
Of
that's them
course.
leaving comments, if that's them, doing things for their audience, being intentional with the content they're creating to actually
Yeah.
provide value. What what's your opinion on going with micro influencers versus creators with, 1 million followers plus?
That is also something that we focus on when it comes to educating or building strategy. I'm gonna be honest. There is nothing bad about having millions of followers. That's great, and that kind of influencer with millions of followers, they can still work, but they work for a totally different goal. If your goal is brand awareness, big reach, and you wanna reach a lot of people, you just want to spread the word and really boost your brand awareness, you go for bigger influencers. If you want to sell, and if you want to if you want to make sure that your influencer has that bridge with their audience and that connection, you want to really sell, you want to use that bridge, you go for smaller influencers, because it's naturally you know um impossible to maintain relationships with a lot of people at the same time. So for bigger influencers, if you just look at their basic metrics, the bigger the influencer is, the lower their engagement rate is, and that's totally fine. That's normal, because it's impossible to talk with everybody, reply to all the comments, and just all the DMs. It's just, you're gonna, you need time to live, you need to you need time to eat, to sleep. Otherwise you have to skip everything and just live on your Instagram account. So bigger influencers, they are good if you want to spread the word, if you want to boost brand awareness. But if you want to sell, that's when you work with smaller influencers, because it's easier for them to maintain that, to build that bridge, actually, to maintain relationships, to stay connected, to stay intentional, to listen to their audience, what kind of content they are interested in. Bigger influencers, they just don't have time to analyze that, they just post whatever. Smaller influencers, because they know how important it is to grow on social media, to entertain in a good way, entertain their audience. That's why they care so much about listening to what their followers want to see. So that's why we have two different goals, two different categories of influencers: smaller ones for sales, bigger ones for brand awareness. You can mix and match. You can, work with both at the same time. I like, to be honest, separating, and that's what I recommend doing. But sometimes we have a lot of those clients that, like, we want everything at the same time. Fine, then we onboard both categories of influencers, but we have different strategies, of course. But yeah, those are this is the biggest difference that I would point out.
That was beautiful. Great answer. Um, and you're now expanding into offering PR services. Can you talk about why this is important for you to offer this on top of, like, obviously everything else that you offer?
Of course, yes, we expanded almost a month ago. For 2 years, influence space was only an influencer marketing agency, and we were providing end-to-end service. So what we could offer, it was very data driven. It was our strong expertise, something we're really good at, something that I was doing for 6 years before I started my agency. So we know we're good at that. But when I started actually talking to a lot of brands, and we kind of uh over the past 6 months, we I don't know what happened, but we started having a lot of conversations with brands. I think it's just it was the moment for us. And I realized that not all brands that we talk to need influencer marketing. And when I talk to someone and I understand that this person they it doesn't need influencers, I cannot even produce those words like you need influencer marketing when they clearly don't. So and I started thinking, okay, I really want to help. I want to bring. I don't want to just sell something. I wanna be helpful. I wanna be a part of big success for of other brands. I wanna see them grow. I wanna see them make a lot of money, and I wanna see them succeed. So what can I do? What else can I offer? Influencer marketing, yes, it's great, but not for everybody. And I'm honest, it's not for everybody. Not everybody needs that. And then we sat down with my team, and we started analyzing and thinking about like expansion and other additional services. And then we kind of looked at ourselves from that, helicopter view, like what else we can do, or what are our other strengths that we have. And we actually realized that we were doing a lot of PR campaigns for ourselves or for our long-term clients as a gift, as an additional bonus. And we never talked about it. We never published anything about it. So we had a lot of case studies for our company, for our clients, and we put together some case studies for ourselves. We sat down again, all together, discussed it, and we actually realized that what we did for us or for other clients, we can do it for other companies too, but like not as a bonus anymore, but as an additional service. So that way, we now can help more brands, and we actually can help with something that they actually need, not something that we can have and that's it. Only influencer marketing, we try to fit it in, like, we will make it work even if it doesn't. So now it gives us this freedom to talk to more brands, be helpful to a lot of companies, and be a part of their growth, and that's something that makes me happy.
What's awesome is the fact that you don't shove your services down people's throats if they don't like it. And I think more people need to realize it's about providing value rather than you need my service at all costs. Because, like you mentioned, what if a business doesn't want or even need your service at that point? They could come back later and get it. So
Yeah.
I really like how you are intentional with that. Um,
Thank you.
Now I want to cover some of your personal stuff. I want you to talk about. So you were born a premature baby. I don't think you've actually ever talked about this um,
No,
publicly.
this is the
So
first time.
I am honored, and I'm also a premature baby. So I really want you to talk about kind of just your story and your journey and some of the things that you went through throughout that whole struggle being younger.
Whew. Okay, it is the first time I talk about it publicly. Not even all of my friends. I don't think they know that I'm a premature baby. Actually, maybe just the closest ones. Yeah, I was born as a premature baby. My mom was, I think it was her 7th or 6th month. Yeah, something in between. And yeah, I was born with a heart condition that they suspected from the beginning, that most premature babies, they have that risk, and I had that risk as well. And yeah, I stayed in the hospital for a couple of months, and they were checking everything, and mostly the doctors, they were focused on my heart. They just wanted to make sure that it's good and healthy. They forgot to check everything else. And I actually, my heart was okay. I was born with a healthy heart, thank God. But I had a different condition, which is a rare bone disease that works like cancer. And and yeah, they just didn't check it, they didn't spot it, and back then it was a rare disease, and not a lot of doctors even knew about it. So and I was, that special baby. I just brought it to the world. And yeah, when I was 5, that was the time when we actually found out, because that disease, it works like I said, like cancer. It appears out of nowhere, and it kills your bone. It kind of destroys your bone. It makes it so weak you can just break it by squeezing it. So when I was 5, it was my birthday actually. I was turning 5 that day, and I and a sweet neighbor boy broke my leg. Yeah, it was an accident. And yeah, my big journey started after that. I think it's worth another podcast episode. But as a premature baby, what I would like to say, and I think you feel the same way. I don't know. Tell me, but it's I know a couple of other people, also premature babies. There is something. There is like a we are born hungry for life, for because we had to fight for it when we were born, and I think it kind of has this mark for the rest of your life, that you are hungry for things, for achievements, for goals, for spiritual growth, for connection with something bigger than this world. You keep your mind open 360. You explore life. I don't know if it's just if it's specific to premature babies or not, but all the premature babies that I know, they are like that. They have this hunger. They really want to, they don't want to miss any opportunity, and they just grab on things, and they just but it's in a good way. They're not greedy. They are very given, and they are generous, but they also, whatever they want, they just get it, whatever it takes. So I'm grateful that it happened to me. Of course, ask my mom; she will say the opposite thing, of course. But for me, I whatever happened to me, and then after I turned 5 as well, all of that shaped me in a different way, actually, in me being stubborn in a good way, me being persistent, me being consistent, me setting my goals and just achieving them. And if I, there was never a time when I couldn't achieve a goal and I'm like, okay, then it's not mine. No, there's just another way. Maybe I was on the wrong path to my goal. So I don't know where it's coming from, but I really, and I was analyzing that, but I really think that because when we were born, we had to fight for our place in this world. We kind of continue doing that throughout life. What do
Was
you
there?
think about that?
No, I agree with you. I've always carried this like gratefulness of like I just
Yeah.
love life even when things are bad or bad. Um, was there ever a point where you like regretted or hated the world for the position that it put you in?
Not a once, not once. I hated the world or the universe or people around me, not once. Because, like I said, uh, I consider myself privileged for everything that happened to me because I actually value everything that I have, including my ability to walk, because I was in a wheelchair for many years. And when I actually started walking and it took my first step, I was 21. So I know how blessed people are to be able to just walk. When you get up in the morning and you just walk and you brush your teeth standing up, both of your feet on the ground, that's a freaking blessing that people don't appreciate, don't understand. So the position that I was in allowed me to see all those things and allowed me to appreciate all those things that probably I wouldn't, or I would take it for granted if I was not in that position. So of course, as a kid, you ask a lot of questions like, why me? I mean, why is it happening to me? Why do I have to, go from one surgery to another? Why do I have to, be in pain all the time and nothing works? Why? Of course, as a kid, you have a different mindset and the world seems a little bit unfair, especially when you see healthy kids. But growing up, and I think mentally, I started growing up pretty early, maybe 11, 12. I started realizing that I'm actually that I'm great, that I saw the other side, the dark side of life, so I can really, really appreciate the other, the opposite side of it. So, and a lot of people, mm, they just, take all those blessings for granted. I don't, and that's because I was in that position.
And last one here, because we could talk forever.
Oh,
Um, you just glazed over, but it's important. You were in a wheelchair until 21. Can you talk about what that process was like and how you ended up getting out of that position?
Of yes, basically the disease that I was born with, like I said, it's rare, and back in the days, we couldn't find a doctor who would know what to do with it, and I had 22 surgeries done, and out of those 22 surgeries, I needed only four. Other 18 were done by mistake. So I because of those mistakes, I ended up in a wheelchair actually. So, and the process was actually, hmm, I'm trying to be to choose the words. Uh, it was different, for me when I was going through that. I never thought I never compared myself to anybody else. I never compared myself to healthy kids because I didn't see any. I was growing up in a hospital. So, yeah, you ask questions like, why is it happening? But at the same time, it's your reality, it's your life. So, when I ended up in the wheelchair, I was already 14. And we were getting ready for a difficult surgery. My doctor, he was, not the most sensitive person, not the most empathic, but he said, "Okay, no leg, no problem. So let's cut it off, and you just deal with the rest." And then my mom was like, "Okay, yeah, sure. Let's give us 3 days. It's a big decision." And I remember in the middle of the night, we were still in the hospital getting ready for the surgery, and my mom woke me up and she said, "Be quiet. We're leaving this place." And in the morning, because they didn't let us go, because we were paying a lot of money, so it was very corrupted. And yeah, so my mom, she was trying like, okay, maybe we should see other doctors, and they were like, no, 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 there is no other solution. We just, no leg, no problem. That was the solution that they offered. So yeah, in the middle of the night, she woke me up. She said, shh, we're leaving this place. And we left. And the next morning, we were already in another doctor's office, And that doctor, I think he is um he's like an angel from heaven, from above, because he only needed 4 surgeries after all the mistakes, after all the mess that was done. He needed only 4 surgeries to put me back on my feet. And I was 17 by that time, so from 14 to 17, it was, he was so emotionally intelligent. He was so loving and caring, like a grandpa, because he planned those 4 surgeries so they wouldn't interrupt my education, they wouldn't interrupt my school time, they wouldn't interrupt any exams. So he planned it out for me. And I'm talking about him, and just, I have goosebumps. What a wonderful, wonderful person. And yeah, he put me back on my feet when I was 21. It was a long process. It was a long, long process, from 14 to 21, to the point when I could walk, when I took my first step. It was supposed to be in front of a doctor, my family, and everybody was like, "This is your time. Take your first step. Come on." I couldn't. I was so freaking terrified to break my leg if I take this. I thought that, okay, once I take my first step, I'm gonna break my leg, and that's gonna be it. I had that, I don't know. And then my doctor said, okay, you go home, but you have to do it. And I remembered that moment vividly, because I was in my bedroom and my sister was in the kitchen. And I don't know, I was in my bed, and nobody else was home. And I was like, yeah, I just want to do it. I cannot. It was 2 weeks already. I still couldn't, and I was like, okay, it's either now or never. I got up, I took my first step. Gosh, my heart was, I could feel it in my throat. I took first step, I took the second one, and I was like, there's nobody, there's nobody to celebrate my moment. There was only sister in the kitchen. So I yes, I went to the kitchen. I really wanted her to see me walking. She never saw me walking. I opened the door to the kitchen. I was crying like a baby because I was so happy, and I was overwhelmed, and I couldn't even hold my emotions. It's a we walk, gosh, it's amazing. It's a gift from the universe. And my sister was like, are you in pain? I was like, no, I'm just so happy. Poor sister, she was so scared. But yeah, she shared the that moment with me.
So there was no pain.
No, there was no pain, there was shock. There was shock. I couldn't feel my leg actually because of the shock. I think my mind just blocked that part of me. It blocked it out. Like, so I don't feel anything. Just take your freaking first step already. So I couldn't feel anything. I couldn't feel anything actually from my neck down, because it's that rush. It's that excitement. And I remember every little part of that day, of that moment. And yeah, I didn't stop walking ever since. I just, every time I have a chance to go from point A to B, I walk. I don't, no cab, no nothing, I walk, because it's a gift. It's a gift for everybody.
That has to be such a interesting perspective to not be able to walk for 21 years and then now being able to walk anywhere. And I bet the thoughts and the perspectives you had when you were 14 through 17 had to be like, am I going to walk? Is this going to happen? And now
Yes.
you're what, 10, 15 plus years later, you now can walk like you've never even struggled before.
Exactly. Absolutely. Yeah, that's a beautiful way to put it. Yeah, I of course, and I remember when I was like 14 to 17, even to 21, I remember one day we were going back from a hospital. It was actually that day when my doctor told me to take my first step, and I was like, no, 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 I cannot do it right now. I'm going to break my leg, I'm going to break my heart and my mind. Blah. And he was like, "Okay, go home." And we were my brother was driving and I was sitting next to him. And I was looking out of the window and people just passing by, and I remember that thought in my head, like, why aren't they scared? Why aren't they scared to walk? They can break their legs so easily. And then I was like, what? So it actually shows the mindset that you have growing up like this. That fear that you have that fear is formed for you was formed, for years inside of you. And yeah, I remember that thought. I looked at people. I'm like, okay, my doctor just told me to take my first step, but people are like walking like nothing. They just walk casually. How? And they don't have that fear that I have. Like, how is it possible? So so yeah, that is a different it's a different mindset. Different mindset for sure.
That's beautiful. We'll cover more of this story because I have so many avenues I want to go down, but uh, th- that's enough for this time. We will have you back on to cover more because I find this fascinating. Um,
Thank you. I would
how
be
can
happy to
people?
come back.
Yes, we would love to because there's so much mindset things I think that go into this. Um,
Yeah.
how can people find you, and what is one thing you want to leave people with?
People can find me well, people should really check the description box below. Yeah, you can find me there. You can find my agency at influence-space.com, and you can connect with me on the website. Uh, and I really want people to just sit with this and think about it. And yeah, it's just something that I had a job interview with one of the candidates that I'm hiring. And she's a student, and she asked me that question, like, what is one thing you can tell me so I can be successful? And that really touched me, because when people ask you that question, it's something special. So I told her something that I want to tell to anybody who's listening right now. Don't ever let anybody or anything define your goal. You set your goal, you see it. If you can see it, you can do it. And don't let any obstacles, any situations, any negative people in your life change that goal for you, because we tend to do that. Unfortunately, we tend to downsize, we tend to adopt, we tend to change the goal, change the vision. And we become smaller than we actually are. So yeah, just one thing: don't let anything or anybody define your goal.
Such a good thing to leave people with, and I could not agree more. Amina, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today, sharing your story. Very, very impactful, and I'm honored that you got to share it here first with us. So thank you so much. And if you want to stay in the room after, we can chat, but I appreciate
Of
you.
course.